I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do. No, but I'm lying. I'm lying. I know why we're talking about this tonight, but I'm not going to tell you. There are certain things in this existence that will happen to you no matter what. I think we all can agree to that. But it's the type of person you are, the type of life that you live, the type of connections that you hold dear, that when those connections are tested, you have a spotlight moment, right? It If you're doing a play, this is when the entire stage, right, goes dark, and you have that one spotlight shining right down on the person as they're about to initiate their monologue. Again, I know why we're talking about this tonight. I'm not going to go into detail with you about it. But I'm sure if you stick around and listen to this, you can probably put two and two together as to what happened. Now, you're going to go through this at several points in your life. You're going to feel differently at each of these different points, right? How you think and deal with things as a child is not how you think and deal things as a adolescent. How you deal with things as an adolescent isn't how you deal with things as a young adult, so on, so forth, etc., etc., etc. Nietzsche has a very, very interesting way of looking at this. He calls it the eternal return. One of the best ways to illustrate it, one of the best ways to look at it, is if you knew what your life was. Anybody seen Arrival? Right? Perfect example. If you had the cognizance to understand what your life was going to be from beginning to end, not trapped, not bound, right? But to know that this is a finite thing that you will always experience, always go through. If you guys have paid attention to when we talk about physics, quantum physics, Tesla, stuff like that, you're going to see where I'm going with this. And there are several different layers that Nietzsche uses to describe what type of human embraces at what type of level. The overall one that I want to talk about is the highest form of this. Essentially, like in Arrival, Louise, she was given the memories of everything that was going to happen in her life. She had every opportunity to turn back and leave. But she chose to embrace her life, that life of pain and that life of loss, because she knew the love of her husband, the love of her daughter, even knowing that she was going to lose them all, was worth more than the pain of loss could ever make her feel. This is the highest form of eternal return to Nietzsche. This is the person that looks at their life, does not find meaninglessness, does not find dull repetition, but complete and utter embrace of the things that have happened and the things that are going to happen. And knowing that everything eventually returns. It cycles through. Your life is a sick cycle carousel. And no matter what you try to do to change your outcome, no matter what you try to do, your life is already set in stone and you don't even know it yet because of the experiences you've had. Now, are you the type of person that's going to rage against that and try to change that, hoping that the outcome will be different the next time? Are you somebody that gives up in utter hopelessness, complete nihilism, because there's no purpose, there's no meaning, there's just suffering? Are you somebody that can embrace the mundane? Are you somebody that can embrace knowing that this is your life day after day, and as long as you are present and can accept what is, what was, and what will be, and find a shining light in the monotony? Can you overcome the nihilism? These are all different stages that people go through depending on, again, the type of person they are, the type of life that they've lived, the examples that they've had in their lives to show them what kind of man or woman they should be. We all know how I feel about that. But I want to embrace, not just focus on, but I truly embrace this idea that, because the more I think about it, and having a shock to your system definitely makes you relive your entire life all over again. And high IQ people that can recall everything, oh god, it's so bad. Can you take yourself out of it? Can you be analytical enough to see beyond the pain that stays stagnant inside you? Can you see the beauty from the other side? That maybe you're meant to be alone. Maybe you're meant to be somebody that is in isolation. Maybe that's just you. But instead of being downtrodden, instead of being melancholic, instead of being nihilistic, can you, like Louise, but without seeing your entire life, because time is a flat circle, right? Every instance is there already, whether you've lived it yet or not. It's there, it's marked. Check. Right? So you're meant to get to that point. You're meant to go through everything. So I think the overall question that I have for everyone can you embrace the pain? Can you embrace the meaninglessness? Because you don't have a view of the finish line. A lot of people see the suffering as meaningless. A lot of people see the pain as meaningless, as nihilistic, as all of these things. Can you see beyond it? Can you see with your own two eyes and feel with this thing in your chest? People learn better with examples, right? Nine years ago, I lost everything. Everything. I lost my children. I lost the woman that I considered to be the love of my life. By all intents and purposes, I should be, and you've heard me say this several times over this whole journey that we've been through, all 2.5 years now. Okay. Can you look at that life and instead of focusing on what you lost, instead of focusing on how unfair life treats you, can you see the beauty that actually happened? Nothing's ever meant to stay in this life. Remember that. For all of the younger viewers out there. Everything has an expiration date. From your relationships to your life. Everything has an expiration date. Everything is meant to begin and everything is meant to end. Can you embrace, can you accept that all the pain that you've gone through and that you will ever go through can you not just accept but be happy that it happened, that it was worth it? Because regardless of where my life is at right now, regardless of where my life might go, having those experiences, having that love and that joy, having my children, hearing their laughs, hearing their cries, feeling them hug you when they're scared or when they're happy, because you are what makes them feel worth it. Regardless of the end result, can you embrace the meaninglessness and say it was worth it for that moment in time where everything was perfect? That true beauty that some people never get to experience. That is overcoming eternal return. That is a life well lived. Because even though I lost everything, I still had it. I had it for that moment. And I made the most of it. How many of you can say the same thing? How many of you can look at the pain ahead that long, lonely, single road just meant for you, and say it was worth it. Say, I'm willing to endure everything because I was fortunate enough to know what real love, real belonging, real experience was all about. And for you, dumbass, can't see your name, but it says number 2. There's a big difference between being bisexual and homosexual. Do your fucking homework. And is that the best you fucking got, you idiot?